Rewilding Pawpaw in Michigan. Midsummer Inventory of 2026. I'm Connie Barlow. Today is July 25th, 2026, and this is the third episode in a 4-part series. Do watch parts 1 and 2 first if you haven't already. This video was mostly filmed just 5 days ago, July 20th, 2026. Still in the shade of the Amur honeysuckle here, walking out towards the river, A few logs to cross here along the way. The river is out there, and this, yes, it's an Amur honeysuckle, but this is a very special tree. This is a spiral tree, the guardian tree. And this is where I come out from the patches that I just covered. The river there. Patch 9 is up in this area here, and then the new plantings this year on river, right along the river, are accessed up through there and continue through here and a bit down. And then beyond here is where I walk through to get to the remaining of the old and some new patches. Although there's no pawpaw planted here, this spot is such a special spot for me. This is the giant walnut. And it's got, what is that, a poison ivy going up it? Oh, but this is, I'll put in a photograph or two, or some video or two in here of what it looks like in the early spring, because right up through here, this is all mayapple. And here we are, July 19th, and look at, the mayapple is gone, absolutely gone in here. July 20th, mayapple fruit. You can see the mayapples themselves. They're clonal, so it's always a patch, have already fallen over. There's another one up there, and another one there. And what's interesting is somebody started to eat this one and stopped. It's actually not ripe yet. I wait until they're a little bit squishy, and then last year I picked some and ate it and kept the seeds and planted seeds elsewhere. So this patch always has fruit. And the reason why is I'm facing south right now. So this is a north-facing slope that goes up to the trail and then steep down heading south. The cemetery's this way, the river's this way. And so this north-facing patch is never fooled by a warm spell in March. Never fooled. Whereas the other ones are south-facing, or the biggest one by the big walnut in the Bottomland. Whew, that one's fooled all the time. It never, ever has fruit on it. Continuing downstream on the trail, you know you're getting close to patch 4.5, which I planted last year when you come to this log here. And then as you look, I put my stick along it there. You can see, is that a hackberry? But it's got a mark on it. There's also been several other marks along on the left side here since I came from the big walnut. Let's take a look. This is where I established it last year, 2025, from 30 germinated seeds. And so the place to look is right along this log here. You see this bit of an overhang here, but right along this log. And I weeded this area and then planted 15 seeds here, and right now I count a total of 4, I think. I'll take a vertical look. So here we have 1, 2, this one was a little hard to spot, but you can see that shiny leaf, 3, and then 4 is that light green right over there. So 4 of the 15 germinated seeds. Now we'll move over to where I planted 5 in here, weeded. And can you spot the pawpaw? That light green, definitely. So 1 of 5 showing up here, and then the remaining 10 to get to 30. Oh, here's another view. You can see a view of where the first 15 were planted, then 5, and then going back to the trail to get to the final 10 germinated. I planted real close in just a small weeded spot. And thus far, I only see 1, but boy, it looks really happy. And look, it's even got a little bit of sun. It's happy to have that. And even though I weeded, the privet is providing some protection. And see that log there? And normally I wouldn't plant this close to the trail because the deer can see everything. But I thought, what the heck, I'll give it a try. Patch 4.5. Now the reason it's called patch 4.5, and here's the mark, is that following all the way up through here, yeah, in fact I might as well just walk it. You can see how lovely the trail is. I keep this, deer help too. They keep this trail in really, really good. Now the deer head off there, but there's too much falling there. And here's where the trail continues, and wherever you see a tree fall like that, haha, it means the sun is open. And so last year I planted patch 4B over here, and then this year I supplemented with extended with some more germinated seeds in here and back beyond there. And then farther down is where I cross through and head over for the other older plantings. But we'll take a look next at patch 4B over here. 4B. I just counted about a dozen easily seen ones. This was planted last summer, July 22nd, 2025, with 26 germinated seeds. So this is July 19th, so exactly a year ago. And as I recall, only 4 or 5 showed up late last summer. The others just didn't even emerge. But golly, I've got at least a dozen I can see here now. The furthest one to the left, right there, camouflaged by the privet. Oh my gosh, there might be 2 in that area. 1 there and 1 there. Okay, and then another one right in there. And then moving up. Oh gosh, yeah, look at that. And then another one. Ooh, this one's got lovely light green new leaves. That means it's going to keep heading up. Yeah. And then quite a big one over here. Smaller one. Look at they've got sun on them. That is so extraordinary. These are going to grow tall. And look at this one. This would have been one of the ones that I saw last that came up late summer. And then ooh, another lovely one there. And then some smaller ones in there. And then the farthest one, I can see that. That's not one. This one here, yeah, that would be one there too. But look at the sun. Hallelujah, glory, glory. And then earlier this year I planted more. Look at all the sun coming in there. That's why you get the privet that tall. But I'll do more on that later this summer. actually into the fall when it might be possible to see if any of those have come up. But for now, gratitude for 4B planted in 2025. Now, one that I don't have in my notes here, but I know I planted from seeds. I don't think they were germinated. I think it was just end of summer. I had some seeds left, and I planted in here. And let's see. Oh yeah, one right there, one here. Oh yeah, one back there. So I weeded that, but you can see it's a small patch, so it's rapidly getting camouflaged, but it's if you're standing on the trail here and you look at 4B, see the trail here, it is possible for a deer to think about walking through there. So, all right, so now we're going to continue. In fact, I'll walk with it here. We're going to continue down to the one spot where I have to get on my knees and crawl under. And again, last year I extended 4B with planting a bunch in this area here. Gosh, look at the size of that walnut. 4A we're going to get to is on the other side of this walnut, but here's first thing to navigate. And on the way back, it's really easy to get kind of put off and think that this is the trail that you take back rather than this one. If you take this one, you can get to my farthest downstream river planting, but I don't really maintain it, so it's a tough trail to go on. Okay, so this is where I've opened this area up here, but this area here is where, see the tree fall? This is where I have to shut down and crawl under, and then A is going to be up in there, 4A. So I just crawled under that log coming through here, and trail continues here over to the river and then up this way to the rest of the patches. But here's 4A, and I've got a lot of previous photos and videos of this one. Here's a good spot to see the walnut, the giant walnut. And let me just do an inventory. Oh my gosh, I'm not even gonna count these. Oh, this is glorious. I'll just kind of casually go through with looking for the light colored leaves. Oh boy, yeah, they're still growing. Look at them all. Look at them all, so happy. Wow. Yeah, so happy here. And then over on this side too. Wow, look at that. Look at that light colored leaf. It's still going to be heading up. Very important to know, this is not a pawpaw. It's very coarse. These are pawpaws right there. And then there's another one right beyond that cute little poison ivy right there. And again, I will put in here, this marks it here. This is where after a snowfall, a deer had laid here and had totally melted the snow here, and the snow was everywhere else, and there was some deer poop here. And this is what I recall as site 4A, and the first thing I noticed is, what is this strange thing here? You can see my shadow, the sun's behind me. But what's this strange thing? And then I realized, look at what we have right here. Deer poop. And then here we've got deer. It looks like it all leads uphill. Let's see, how can I show this? Yeah, go in close here. You see the dew claws down there on the lower area. But it looks like it goes up here. It sleeps with its head over at that end, poops out this end, but then it doesn't come back down here. Oh, and here's another time. It went up. This area here, obviously, when I weeded it and planted the pawpaw, germinated pawpaw seeds, suddenly it became a good place to lie down and have a good view in this direction. There's a river out there, so you're safe, and then you can just escape going over that way or so. So I don't know whether that'll be used in the summertime, but it may be that the only place where there are actual ones that can come up and remain will be this part of 4A. So nonetheless, they came back, but I'm going to have to do something with put some branches in to try to keep that from happening again this winter. Not a good spot. I do not want deer laying down in my patches. All right, let's continue on. Coming from the river trail, this is patch 3A. Look at all the sun. Last year I planted 50 germinated pawpaw seeds here. Gosh, no herbivory. Look at them all. Look at the sun. I counted 28 here. 28 of the 50. And I did find over by where you see my stick, that was 3B, where I'd planted 4 seedlings, window box seedlings last year, and one shows up this year. Earlier plantings in 2023 were 4 germinated seeds, of which the only ones showing anymore, this one, and then, oh gosh, how can I show it? Yeah, right here. See the green coming back? It was lovely this spring, but already got clipped off, but must have enough sugar in the roots to come back. So my video camera is running out. I won't be able to do any more today, but I'm coming back. And it's been glorious seeing who's survived. One day later, July 20th, this is my last site that I documented before my video camera was running out. This is 3A, and so now I'm going to walk out to 3C. This is 3C. This is the only one I can see of the 2 potted seedlings, window box seedlings, that I had planted at the head end of it last year. But right now, where I'm standing over the top of this part of the dead tree that fell and that opened up all this space up here, I also planted, in addition to the 2 seedlings, I planted 20 germinated seeds here, and I can see 3. One right here by the log, another one right there, and then another one right there, still growing. And this was the path that I kind of walked on, this grassy area here. So looking back out, the Amur honeysuckle makes impossible anything to really grow back in there, and the trail is there. So I'm continuing on, heading downstream trail, all the way down. Since this is 3C, the next will be 2.5, which I just planted for the new one this year, so nothing growing there yet. 2, 1.5, 1, and then the end trail, old end trail, older plantings. There's the cherry tree that signifies where to walk in to find 3C, and there's right in the center back there, that's the dead tree that I just documented Pawpaws by. And trail heading back towards 3A is up in there, and on the trail here, walking along, when I get to this log here, I look over, and this is where 2.5 is. 2.5 is back in there, germinated seeds, just planted this year, so I'm not going back and looking at anything that's newly planted this year, not in this video. All right, then continuing on the trail here, over here is where sit spot 2 is. All right, back on the trail here again, 2.5 there, heading over to patch 2. So here's the trail I just came from, and looking over here is another cherry right next to the trail, and this is the signal for patch 2 being in here, but I just checked back there. I know it was a small patch that I planted of germinated seeds last year, but I just can't find it. It's and look at how tall. There's some nettle, and then the tall Asteraceae family are. But in a previous video, I already showed all of the 2026 seed plantings I did back there. So, hello, cherry. I'm not going to even try. We're going to walk now it does not take far at all. In fact, I'm just going to do that right now. When you get to the next log here that you have to walk over, look through here. This is a trail, and I have covered this in several previous videos. This is 1.5 because it's between patch 2 to the left and patch 1 to the right. So, as I walk into patch 1.5, this is very noteworthy here, this stick, because right beyond it here is one of 3 window box seedlings that I planted last year, and it had been the top had been eaten off of it, but it's coming back this year. I don't see the middle one, but wow, look at the size of the third one there. So that has not been eaten off. And what happened is that I planted 3 window box seedlings there, and then continuing on, I planted 30 germinated seeds, and I've only spotted 2 now. There's one, oh yeah, right there. That's one, and the other one is on the other side of this log, and there it is. But what happened that I was unaware of is that the deer, as they came through quite a few of my patches, because this was a continuous patch through here, the deer came through here, and also there was a trail over here that was starting to form, and actually I should have noticed had kind of formed. So instead of fighting back, I've got a couple videos on this, last winter created a real trail through here. And this goes to all of the inland patches that I'd never even visited the inland area before, but creating a nice trail. I go into there a lot now, and I planted a whole bunch of new seeds this year. But what's exciting here is that with establishing such a good trail, because I made it even better, it means that these did not get stepped on, these 2 of the 3. And again, it's this. that starts off. So let me walk back out here to the log and then turn around and show what it looks like. Yep, that's patch 1.5. All right, continuing on the trail, we're going to go back to the old end trail there, and actually first I'll do patch 1 there because it comes off to the left before the old end trail. Here's one of the 2 biggest pawpaws that were planted as germinated seeds at patch 1 last year. Here's another one here. And the reason these are so tall, and there's a few more around there, is that this privet is leaning over. So the main patch is over here, but the privet leaning over protected them from last year herbivory. So they were not topped last year. Now the main patch that I planted goes up about this far, and you can see this is what happens when a plant is topped or bitten off at the top. There's one there, and then there's another one there that are small. But nonetheless, there's one there. Look at all the ones that are either weren't topped at all or coming back this year. I can't even count them all. There are so many in there. The ones with the newer leaves are the ones easier to distinguish from from some of the other plants there. And then there's 5 more that are over in this area here. Let's see, there's 1 there, 2, 3, oh, and then 4 back there, but there's a total of 5 there. Oh, and here's a real close one here as I turn, and oh gosh, look at that. It's got a wonderful new leaf on it, so it's continuing to go up. But as I turn here, oh, whoa, that's a nice one there. I hadn't even noticed that one before. Wow, that one's good. But as I turn this way, this is an area I hadn't even gone into last year, but I planted a bunch of germinated seeds. I'll put in how many are there, but I already have a video of planting that. So the main thing in this video is just to record how things came through that were here before planting this year. So again, this one is marked by a really wonderful walnut tree here. And walking back the trail here, it shows how close it comes to get to the old end trail. Okay, I'll do an inventory first, and then I'll take some more pictures here after I do some calculations. But there's looking back to the walnut, and then patch 1 in there. Okay, so first an overview of, I've looked at my notes, and November 2021, right after harvest, I planted 12 non-germinated seeds here, 12 over here. You can see this this grapevine, and it's some on the ground. That's an easy way to establish it. And here's the trail. So this area, but you can see how shady it is. This is a terrible place to plant them. So 12 in here, and then also 12 over in here. Now there are 5 that I see here this year, and again, everything gets eaten back so much. There's 1 there, 1 there, another 1 over there, and then these 2, they must be lacking some nutrient, because look at just the color of these. And right next to it is They often look alike, but you can see the dark area in there, and then also coarse. The top is coarse, and the pawpaw leaves are so smooth. That's how you tell them apart. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 of which are very healthy. And then over here, I only saw 3 coming back this year. The biggest one is right there. Last year, the tallest one had been this one, and it was quite tall, but it really got bitten back, and so that's what it looks like here. And then there's one more. Oh yeah, this little scrawny one here. And then over here there are 4. And what's interesting is that, and I already have a video this year of this area. Oh gosh, I just walked into a spider web. I'm sorry, spider. Oh gosh, yeah. I'd already, because there was a big morel mushroom growing here, but I had put these 2 sticks here in order to, because this has become a real deer trail. And I didn't know there's actually one over here. So 1 pawpaw, and this is regrowth of this. This is a living box elder stem, so that's regrowth there. But this is 1, 2, 3, and then under there with some sun, 4. Oh, and there you can see how much the stem was bit back a couple times. All right, so these are 4.5 years old. Their first summer was 22, 23, 24, 25. Oh my gosh, no, this is their 5th summer. Their 5th summer. All right, so I've finished off the end trail. Now heading back, the river's over on this side here, over to the left. Heading back, we're going to go to another old planting that I call the original Old River Patch in there. We'll see that. And then we've got, farther down, we've got a side trail that goes to Patch 6 and Patch 7. So I'll be doing that. And then final today, we'll be going back into Patch 8 that, with the exception of 8A, did not exist until last year when I planted seeds. So that's what we're going to do for the rest of the day. We've got one more episode in this Midsummer Inventory Pawpaw mini-series. So go down to the caption here on the YouTube video and you'll see how to click on it. Again, the 4th and final episode.